Hey there, and welcome to my fifth installment of Let's Code. So last session we did a bunch of stuff. We got browser sync back into the development workflow for our build system. We got NodeMonth on the back end to help us with our back end development. And then on top of all of that, we did some general primping and prodding and just making everything all for the back end, all in an effort to lay a foundation for what we're going to be doing this week. So this week, we're going to be integrating socket.io. Huh? Yeah, right? Okay, stop it. Nice. All right, well, with our goals in mind, let's code. All right, so the first thing we should do is get socket.io in here. Before we make a change, let's go ahead and create a new branch. We'll call it socket.io. Not very original, but oh well. Then all we should have to do is npm install socket.io, and we will save that to dev. Let that cook a little bit, and while we're doing that, we will just jump in here into the server. We got to set it up on the server side. Let's go ahead and just throw it in here. So let's see here. So they're saving there. So all we need to do is IO. Oh, and that's done. Let's go ahead and npm start this bad boy. Nope. That needs to be var IO is equal to require. And what are we requiring? Socket.io. And I think we pass our server to this. HTTP is, yep. So we pass to this our server, and that should be good to go. No errors there. And then it looks like they have a pub sub subscribers. They're listening to this connection event. Looks like it does its own pub sub, so we'll do io.on, and on that, what are we going to do? We're going to look for connection. So on connection, we will, what's the parameter? Oh, cool, so that's how the socket gets in there. And from there, I think they're just doing a console.log, a user connected. So we'll do evil in the house. Bang. Okay, make sure there's no errors there. Looks pretty good. I guess this starts whenever the server starts, so we don't have to worry about starting it or anything like that. All right, so let's see what we need for actually. Let's see if we're still getting our, yeah, we're having a connection there. Oh, this doesn't have browser sync. Let's open the browser sync one as well. So we'll do localhost 3000. Bam. And is this the browser sync one? Yes, it is. We got our WebSocket right there. So we're good there. Everything seems to be working. Now let's get the client-side stuff. Let's go to one, and what do we need for the client? So we have our script tag. So let's include that. And we'll do that in the Jade file. So let's go source pages index.jade. I guess we don't need this open anymore. And we'll come in here to the head, copy that, and let's do socket.io. Okay, and there we go. So that should bring that in. Let's make sure that's coming in. Okay, here's our JS socket.io. That was Cache was pulling that. Hold on. Beautiful. So there we have that at 2000, and let's do the same thing here. JS and socket.io. Okay, no WebSocket yet though. So the reason we need to actually call into it, I guess. Alrighty, so here in our script at the bottom of our page, we will do vars. Oh, this is in the global space. This is ugly. We'll fix that here in a little bit. So we'll do socket.io, throw that there. Evil into house. Look at that. Evil into house. So it looks like we have a connection. Yep. So if we look, oh, what's this? Oh, that's right. Browser sync uses WebSockets as well. There's something we have to do for browser sync, but it looks like our socket.io WebSocket is connecting. So let's take care of browser sync real quick. So what's under proxy, right? Proxy. With proxy there, yeah, we just move this into a target and provide a web socket true parameter, and we'll do that right here. Here we are in proxy. So we'll just do one of these, one of those, put a little comma here, and insert target and WebSockets. They be true. Like my heart. All right. So that's there, evil into house and evil into house. So it looks like that's working. We got another evil into house, and we got a WebSocket there. Let's go here. We're getting weird errors there. Let's refresh. No strange errors. 2 WebSockets, one for browser sync and one for socket.io. So we got ourselves some WebSocket communication going on. Evil into house, evil into house. And I love how this reestablishes itself when the server reloads. So that's pretty awesome. That is super powerful. So got all that fixed up. One of the things I'm really worried about here, if we look here, is this socket, I believe. Yeah, see, that's in the global space right there. There's our WebSocket, and we're polluting the global space. We're polluting window, so we need to fix that. That is disgusting. We shouldn't be doing that. So we will, and actually, I want to get all of this out of here. And now that we have a web server, we should just be able to create a static JavaScript page that'll do our bootstrapping, so we can get this script out of here. Because, yeah, this is just gross. We need to clean this up a little bit. Okay, well, now that we have the functionality all finished up, let's go ahead and get a commit in there, just so it, before we do the cleanup and whatnot, it provides us a point we can easily roll back to or anything after I mess it all up, because that's just something I like to do. So let's see what we got here. Yeah, those are the files I would expect to be changed. Let's do a diff on this. We're adding socket.io there. That's us bringing in or fixing up browser sync with the WebSocket true. And this is the server-side stuff for socket.io, and this is the client-side stuff. So this is the stuff we're probably going to be cleaning up here soon. So let's look at that. Let's go ahead and add everything here. Give that another GST. Looks like everything's there. So we'll git commit all, and we'll say bring in socket.io, and for celebration we will do clap. So there we go. Let's give this a git log, make sure everything is good there. Yep, so we have our lipstick around Express and browser sync, that stuff. That commit's coming from master, and then our new commit on top of master is going to be this bring in socket.io. Clap. Claps. So, okay, so with that, I think we are ready to refactor. Now that we have an actual server here, it doesn't really make sense for us to keep all of this JavaScript in line in this Jade file or in the HTML. We're going to be doing a lot more work in here, and it would just be nicer to move it out into its own file. And now that we have a server here, we can go ahead and we'll just add a folder called public. And we can then serve from this public folder. So all we really need to do is jump into here to server, and we'll copy this middleware here, and we'll just go ahead and add the same type of static middleware, except we'll have it look at server public, which is that folder we just created. So what's really cool about this is if we match this structure here, see how we have JS, we can put static content here that doesn't go through the build system, and that's perfect for doing the stand-up code that we had in our index page. So all we really need to do is we'll add a JS folder here, and in that folder we will create an index.js, and we're calling it index because it'll go with this index.html here. So now we have that file. Very, very cool. Let's get this started. Actually, before we start that, we got to remember NodeMonth. We have NodeMonth here, and it's looking for any JS file, and it's going to restart the server every time a JS file is changed. So we're going to be adding JS files, which means we are going to need to ignore this as well. So we'll just do one of these, copy that over, and we'll do some of this. All right, and we'll actually point it to server public. Very nice. Okay, so we have that. Now let's go ahead and close that out. Don't know if that's necessary, but we'll match what we were doing before. Now it should ignore everything within server public that's a JS file, including this index.js that we have here. So let's go ahead and now we'll npm start, get this going. And we have that middleware connected, we have all of that. So once this is done building, let's just go ahead and do a console.log, and we'll do cry. Okay, we got evil into house connected there. Let's see here. Oh, we don't have cry because we need to actually reference this in our we don't need to be in site. We need to reference this in our actual Jade file here. So since this is the startup script, we'll go ahead and we'll call this index.js. And what else will we do? We're going to add a defer to this so we can make sure that the entire page and everything's been brought in before it runs our script, because that's what we need to do. So now we have that going, we have that going. We should see our cry in the, yep, and there's our cry right there. So let's go ahead and take that out. And it didn't build. Oh, it didn't build because browser sync itself is not pointed to listen to that. So we need to add browser sync here in files. What should I do? Oops, let's put a bunch of I's in there for no apparent reason. It's my first day using Vim, sorry about that. So then we'll do this. Let's go ahead and copy this line. And this is going to be on server, and we only care about the stuff in public. All right, so now that should listen to changes on this file. So let's see, here we still see cry. Let's take this out and we'll give it a save. It changed and we don't see cry. So cool, this is now built into our build system. So any changes we make here, since this is going to be our boot up script or our bootstrapping script, will also force a browser sync, force browser sync to sync. So that's really awesome. So now that we have that bad boy all up in that piece, let's move out all of this junk. So the whole reason we're doing this, or well, what prompted it, is notice how we have socket here. We'll do socket. See, that's in the global space, and that is 100% disgusting. So In here, we'll go ahead and just do an immediate function, and we'll pass the root in, and the root will be window. All right, so now we have a cute little immediate function here. We can then move all of this stuff just right out. Okay, and let's actually undo that. So now we have this in there, and if we go and save this, everything should still work. Yep. Application started, everything's there. Let's just verify that this is what's going on. We'll console.log joy, put some joy back into the world, might as well. Alrighty, and we got joy. And rain. Alright. Oh, it was and pain. Oh, goodness gracious. Messing up song lyrics left and right. That's what I do. Okay, so now let's go ahead and check, and we should not have any socket. Nope, no socket. That's not defined. And let's do the same thing here. We should have socket because this has not refreshed. This is our 1337 right here. So it does have the socket, but when we reload, socket is not a thing. Either is window.socket. So that's really cool. Oh, and speaking of that, I passed this root in. Since this stuff is on the global anyway, on window, we will go ahead and make it easy to tell what's in window and what's pulling from the global. So we'll just do that, and now we know we can look at our code, and anywhere we see root, we know that that's whatever the global space or the space that's instantiating this function or running this function, invoking this function, that's the context that it provided. So right now, since this is an immediate, window is the context. So that is very, very cool. All right, so now I think we are done. Let's go ahead and give this, let's do a GST. Yep, that's about right, nothing crazy. And when I did that GD, we don't really have the space to really, there we go. That looks really good now. Now we can see everything. All right, that is adding the ignore. That is that. We have server public as the new middleware, and we rip that script out. Okay. All right. So that looks really good. So let's go ahead and we'll git add everything. Give this another GST, and we'll git commit all. We'll call this lipstick client bootstrap. Or we'll just call it bootstrap JavaScript. There we go. So we got our lipstick commit in there. Let's do a git log and see what that looks like. All right, we got our lipstick there. We got the lipstick around that. Let's bring in the socket.io and sunglasses. All right, so I think we are good there. All righty, so I think that's going to do it. Well, that's going to do it for this segment. Be sure to join me next time where we'll be cleaning up the backend socket.io integration. Right now, there's a bunch of stuff in that index file, and we kind of want to put it into its own home. So we'll be doing that next episode. Also, we need to go ahead and address a major elephant in the room. We have a bunch of HTML elements that are inside of our Jade file, and that's putting the onus on whoever consumes us to have to define a structure for us to integrate with. And that's making our application domain for the client side very loosey-goosey. So we need to kind of tighten that up with a firm demarcation. So we will focus on that stuff in the next episode as well. So if you want to stay up to date with all the latest videos, be sure to hit subscribe. And if you want to like or comment, your feedback is greatly appreciated. And until next time, if you find yourself bored in life, chances are you probably aren't doing it right.